Okay. You're just right up there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
From this angle, you look like a jester with the puffy pants.
Really?
Yeah. Get off me.
I don't think that's true.
Get the fuck off me.
I think that's rude to say to someone.
I'm very rude. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll just start cleaning and bitching.
Loving the water.
Oh, I got told to hydrate. God. Alright, so we started reading Lore Olympus for the sole purpose of finding out context for that one image that says never apologize for being Sicilian. Because it's a comic based off the Greek gods and all of those myths and stuff. So why are they talking about Sicily in the Greek god comic? And we haven't received context yet. I guess we'll have to stop reading once we finally get context.
Or it might not make any sense still, so we will have to keep reading.
Oh god. So you start. So it's just so shit. It's so shit. I can't even like.
Hades is driving to a party and
he's
he
going to
calls
some
up his
fuck ass
sugar baby.
party that like Zeus is throwing for some god fuck ass reason. And he's all upset because
calls
he's like,
it his
oh, my
sugar
girlfriend
baby.
won't come to a party with me. Who isn't Persephone, by the way. It's this other lady.
It's
called
a nymph named Minthy.
Minthy.
Minthy. Mint. You might see where her fate ends up being.
Just, I mean,
based off her name.
Yeah. And then like, Persephone's like, oh, I've never been to a party because she's talking to like Athena at Athena's place, not Athena, Artemis. Because she's besties with Artemis or whatever. And anyway, they all go to this stupid fuck ass party. And I need everyone to, here's the beginning of where all the inconsistencies start.
Well, aside from the art style.
Aside from the art style is also very inconsistent, but so Persephone gets bumped into by Odysseus, and it's shown that Poseidon has beef with Odysseus. So this implies that the Odyssey and the Trojan War have already happened. But I looked it up, and apparently like 200 chapters in the future in the comic, Achilles is born, which means that the Trojan War hasn't happened yet. So there's no one is doing any sort of research into any sort of consistency at all. And this is unfortunately gonna become a running theme where, how do I put this down? Okay. Where shit just happens with no thought put into it of how the actual myth, like, worked at all.
It's tragic.
You expect them to not, yeah, of course, you expect them to not run out of ideas and have to use every great mythic effort. Well, the myths they do tell, they don't even tell them good. They fuck it up.
They fuck it up so bad.
Anyway, so Hades says some bullshit about Persephone being like, oh, she's so much hotter than, like, Aphrodite, or whatever.
He's like, oh my god, she's so beautiful, because she falls over breastedly beautifully.
Because she got bumped over, and she's, like, on the floor, all ooh woo, I'm girl. I am small, by the way, she is drawn so tiny.
I'm a small petite girl
with massive bazoingers and huge hips. And every single female character in the comic has the exact same body type, which is breast-filling boobily with my giant hips.
The only way you can tell them apart is that they're different colors.
They are different colors. Hades is blue.
That's gonna be.
And Persephone is pink, because Persephone is the girl color.
Boy, girl.
And
boy,
Hades
girl.
is the boy color. It's dumb.
But well, it's probably going to become harder later on when she runs out of colors for the characters to be.
What comic is this? It's Lore Olympus.
Lore Olympus, it's bad. Please don't read it. We're doing this for you. We're going to explain the plot to you. It's so bad. It really hurts. It hurts me. So I got chapter 20 made me physically want to vomit. Or was it chapter 19? I don't know. It was something. It made me want to puke.
Lol. Who's the writer?
Who's the writer? Some bitch named Rachel Smith.
Some bitch.
Smithy.
She's somebody who says that Lore Olympus should be taught in schools as accurate Greek myth portrayal, and I'm like, ma'am.
Not true.
Not true.
Even I'm
You don't even know what the timeline is in your own comic. So then Aphrodite gets big mad, right? She gets big mad that somebody said that somebody else was hotter than her, and she tells Eros / Cupid, her boy son, to come down and help her.
Well, I thought was like her. I thought she was like that was one of her fuck persons at first, because she's not drawn like. It's not like obvious that she's like a mother or something, because all the women are drawn like
exactly
they look
the
like
same.
They're 20-something. They all look
every
like they're
single woman is drawn like Ariana Grande or Kim Kardashian. It's really weird.
I did not know she was older. I thought she was. I didn't know what was going on. I had to look shit up because it's not explained.
Anyway, she ropes Eros into helping her embarrass Persephone by getting Persephone super fucking drunk to the point where she's like basically blackout, and then putting her in Hades' car as like a mean prank or something, because they'll like embarrass each other. Like they'll be like, okay, well Hades will be seen as a weird gross creeper for taking her home, and she'll be a big drunk weirdo. And then they'll hate each other. Problem solved. And she threatens. Totally. Now, I'm gonna say this. Persephone forces Eros to do this by threatening Psyche.
You mean Aphrodite?
Yeah, whatever. Aphrodite threatens Eros with Psyche. And if you know the Eros or Cupid and Psyche myth, things are gonna get dumb later very quickly. Okay? It's so bad. It's so bad. I know. No. Shut up, Theed.
Shut up. You don't even know. Theed. You don't know.
So we all know. Okay, so we all know Persephone in Hades. The original myth is Zeus. Hades just like, yo, your daughter's real hot. I want to marry her. And Zeus is like, yeah, that's cool. So then he comes up and kidnaps Persephone and takes her home and forces her to live there with him. And then Demeter is like, no, you do not get to kidnap my daughter and force her to be your wife. Something, and then that's why winter happens and all that shit, because she was letting everything die. And that's the actual myth, because in the ancient Greek world, that's literally what would happen, is people would just be like, the fathers would set up marriages for their younger daughters with an older man, and the daughter and the mother would have literally no say over it, because the Greeks hate women.
Yeah.
And so, instead, like, Persephone, so Hades finds her in the car, or whatever, and they get there, and then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm such an embarrassment, and, like, she doesn't find it creepy at all that this man just took her home.
Yeah, okay, so he found her in the car, and then he decided, instead of getting her out and being like, who's this drunk girl in my car, he drives her back to his home, and then puts her in a bed. I don't know what kind of bed. All of the house is colored blue.
The whole house is blue, and I want to mention this as well. Hades is drawn in with, like, a dark blue, or regular, like, his color changes. But the entire underworld is also a dark blue. So the many scenes that Hades is in the underworld, he just blends into the background.
Yeah. And so she wakes up and he's not there. She doesn't know where she is, but she decides to explore because she's an adventurous spirit, I guess.
Or some bullshit.
And then she runs into Cerberus, and Cerberus is like being a mean doggy or whatever or something. And then he does a whole thing where he's like, don't eat her Cerberus, and then she's like, it was fine, and then 7 other dogs show up, and Hades has like 7 normal dogs from the human world, like a Shiba Inu.
Now I want to also
Pomeranian.
Oh, we're gonna get to this point. Okay, now keep in mind Shiba Inu and Pomeranian, modern dog breeds. Please keep this in mind. He has modern dog breeds. This will come up into play very soon.
He has modern dog breeds, but Cerberus is in fact just a 3-headed dog.
Right. I gotta turn my fan on. I'm getting overheated for my need to shit talk. I mean, you already mentioned a car. Yeah, it gets dumb.
Well, they're in Hades' house right now, okay, Krypton? With 7 dogs. Oh my god, Krypton.
So then they spend, like, what, a chapter and a half, like, talking and flirting and bullshit, or whatever. And I want to make this known, nobody has seen Persephone yet in Olympus, because she's been living in the human realm. And we find out a little bit later that the gods and stuff are all drawn like it's modern day bullshit. God have iPhone and car.
God have iPhone.
But the human mortal realm is still ancient Greece. So Persephone, when she wants to go home and sees all of Hades' cars and bullshit, is like, oh, can I drive your car? Now my question is, if she's been in the human realm for the past 19 years of her life, and hasn't seen a car before, how does she know how to drive a car? How does she know how to drive a car if she's never seen a car before? Because on the human planet, it's still ancient Greece. That's all I want to know is...
How's she know how to drive a car?
How's she know how to drive a car? Time travel. No.
Time travel, no. It's not.
It's
not an answer.
It's not an answer. Oh my god. And then she gets dropped off at home. Okay? She's home now. And Artemis is like, hey, Hades, go kill yourself. And we're all like, yay, Artemis!
Yeah. She's like, oh, what a creepy old man. He didn't touch you at all. And then Persephone's like, no.
No. Not understanding what Artemis actually means.
It wasn't a Tesla. It didn't have a brand on it, but sure, it's a Tesla. Hades is a Tesla driver.
Yeah, we hate him for being a Tesla driver, among other things. Anyway, and okay, also like Hades and Persephone like swapped like business cards or whatever. So she has his number and he doesn't have her number for whatever reason because her business card doesn't have a phone number.
She didn't have a phone, so she didn't have a phone number because she's from ancient Greece land.
Right.
So she wouldn't have a phone number. And also they're like, well, she's like, Demeter doesn't phone because they're trying to make it that Demeter's like a really overprotective mom who's crazy for not wanting her daughter. Like in the original myth, it's like she's mad because her daughter got married off without her being able to do anything about it.
Right.
But now she's just crazy overprotective.
Now she's just a crazy overprotective mom instead of someone who's upset that her child got like sold off to be married to some random fuck ass.
To her uncle.
By the way, this comic tries really hard to sidestep the incest stuff in the dumbest way possible.
Olympic level sidestepping.
Here. Oh god.
So then Persephone gets an iPhone from Artemis.
Right.
And then now she has a number, so she texted Hades. And then Eros shows up with donuts
to apologize
like, I'm sorry.
for you know, getting her extremely drunk and putting her in a stranger's car, which is extremely fucked up to do.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
we
donuts
get
are
to
not enough to make up for it.
The start where I actually started having severe issues with the rest of the comic, because they fuck up the myth of Psyche and Cupid so fucking bad, it makes me legitimately upset. It's like she heard about the myth, and didn't actually read the Metamorphosis, which is where the myth, like, came from. Like, that's the text that people reference when they're talking about the Cupid and Psyche myth. And she just is just like, oh, everybody wants to marry Psyche because she's, like, everybody's like, oh, she's, like, the second Aphrodite or whatever, when in the actual myth, she was not getting any marriage proposals because she was too pretty, and nobody wanted to piss off Aphrodite even more. So eventually in the real myth, her parents went to, like, the Oracle of Delphi and was like, hey, what's going on with our daughter? And they're like, well, your daughter's gonna marry a monster that's gonna kill her and, like, eat her and her unborn child or whatever. And so they're like, oh no, and then anyway. So the actual myth is about Psyche doing a lot of shit in order to get Aphrodite to stop being, like, big aggro at her for no reason. Meanwhile, in Lore Olympus, Psyche gets married off to some random guy, which didn't happen. And then Eros is, like, big mad because he feels bad for her, and then kidnaps her and takes her to Olympus. Which isn't what happened at all. And we're gonna mention at this point, he then teaches her how to write and read in English, but you're a Greek god.
And Psyche's the only character so far that's been colored brown.
Yeah, Psyche is the only human so far that has been portrayed, and she is a woman of color, and they've decided to make her illiterate.
Which, it's true that she would be illiterate, because in ancient Greek they didn't teach women how to read or write, but she's being taught how to read English. Which is not what they were reading
by
and
a
writing
Greek god.
In ancient Greek. By a Greek god.
And she's not freaking out about, like, the existence of, like, a microwave or anything, because Olympus is, again, like, super modern day, because they have iPhone. I would just read the Wikipedia page about Psyche and Cupid, and then it's just like, what the hell? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? iPhone and Tesla.
Yeah. The Greek gods have iPhone and Tesla.
They have iPhone and Tesla.
And then in the myth, it's like, she has her own palace in the myth, and she doesn't realize, well, isn't Eros be invisible and then have sex with her?
So in the myth, like, she's taken to, so, like, her parents are like, oh no, she's fated to die. So they take her up to this cliff, and then she is carried off somewhere, or she falls asleep, like, they leave her there.
She's left to the wilds.
She's left to the wilds, and then she wakes up somewhere else and wanders to this really dope-ass palace full of wonderful food and all this cool shit. Like, basically, she's getting, like, the 5-star treatment at this place. And at night, Cupid is invisible, and they go to Bone Zone Town, which is weird.
Wow.
And then in the original myth, her sisters are like, we want to go see our sister Psyche, so they do, and then they get big jealous because they're like, what the fuck? You're living in this dope-ass house? Where's the monster that's supposedly supposed to eat you? And
you just get to have sex with an invisible guy? What the hell?
And so in the actual, like, myth, they, like, look, you need to find out who you're fucking, okay? And then, so they convince her to, like, take oil or something and, like, try to figure out who it is. And then when Psyche sees Cupid, because it's Cupid and he's apparently super hot, she, like, drops it and that startles him and he flies away because he's, like, a coward.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the myth right here.
Well, I think that's what I read it recently off Wikipedia, and that's basically it. And then he's like, and then she needs to do tasks for Aphrodite.
And here I thought they received it via dodgeball. Who knows? Psyche
That's only for
plan to survive. She brings out a dagger and a lamp she had hidden in the room in order to see and kill the monster, but when the light instead reveals the most beautiful creature she has ever seen, she is so startled that she wounds herself on one of the arrows in Cupid's cast-aside quiver. Struck with feverish passion, she spills hot oil from the lamp and wakes him. He flees, and though she tries to pursue, he flies away and leaves her on the bank of a river. She is then discovered by the wilderness god Pan, who recognized that she's got big horny in her. And then they like hang out as she throws dodgeball. Ow. And then Psyche goes to visit her sisters again, and they're both really angry, finding out that her secret husband was actually Cupid. And then they try to go to the Rocky Crag and whatever. And anyway, both of her sisters die. They fall to their death for reasons, because it's Greek myth, and of course. And then here's the other issue with the timeline again. The myth of Cupid and Psyche takes place after the fact, when Persephone and Hades get married, because in the myth of Cupid and Psyche, Psyche has to go to the underworld to ask Persephone for a favor.
So, it's kind of fucked already. Good job, R. Smith.
Good job.
You already fucked it.
You fucked it again. Timeline. Come on.
I guess in her mind, she's like, well, the Greek myths are just happening all at once or something.
No, it's generally considered that, like, the Trojan War and the Odyssey was, like, the end of the Age of Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
God. So Psyche wanders around, and then she comes to a temple of Demeter, and then eventually to one of Hera, and she, like, cleans them up, and she's like, hey, please help me. And they're like, sorry, dog, Aphrodite has it out for you. We cannot help you. You gotta go ask her. And then shit happens, and they do all this shit. But in Lore Olympus, what happens is that, again, Eros kidnaps her from her wedding that didn't happen in the actual myth, because in Lore Olympus, Psyche's getting married to some rich old merchant guy who's a creep, because he's a rich old guy. Which is weird, because it's exactly what Hades is, and she has no problem showing off how cool and hot Hades is to
like,
Persephone.
Hades is Mad Mikkelsen.
Right. Hades, by the way...
is Mad Mikkelsen.
By the way, I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but it really, really looks like it, if you think for more than 2 seconds, that this whole thing is actually just self-ship art between a self-insert OC and Mads Mikkelsen. Because Hades often looks like someone tried to make a caricature of Mads Mikkelsen. And this would be fine if it wasn't the Greek gods.
Yeah, I don't care if you're making a self-ship art with your Mad Mikkelsen OC. I don't give a shit. But you're putting the Greek god stuff here and doing it poorly. Like, you're asking for the weird nerds that loved Greek mythology when they were children.
You're asking for the like, weird nerds, which is us, to be angry. It's...
just right at this point, because she's doing it so badly, it probably would have been better if she just wrote her own story, but she's not that creative, I don't think.
Straight up, if she had just made her own OCs with, like, magic powers and bullshit, I would be not angry, because she's not bastardizing all of the source material to work for her bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
anyway. Gotta suck for the people that, like, are neo-pagans that worship all these gods, and seeing them fucked up like this, that'd be crazy. I would be so upset.
Anyway, so Cupid, Eros, like, kidnaps Psyche from her wedding or whatever, and then just keeps her at his home on Olympus.
But they can see each other.
But they can see each other. By the way, he's not invisible. This whole time he has not been invisible, and she can see him.
And they fuck.
And then her sisters show up, and they're like, you don't even know this guy, he just kidnapped you.
He could be a wizard. They say that.
They say that. They say this guy could be a wizard. Okay.
You should kill him.
You should kill him. And so she takes a knife, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna, I guess, kill this guy instead of talking it out, because she wanted to include the scene from the myth where Psyche has the knife and the lamp, but didn't actually think about it at all, because if she can already see Eros, why is she trying to kill him instead of simply asking him questions?
But then in the sleep, she could see that he had wings.
And she's like, oh, and then she instantly figured it out. Oh, you're Eros/Cupid. And then he wakes up and is like, what the fuck, you have a knife? And then she's like, wait, I can explain. But he's like, no. And then he runs away. And it's like, Mom, this lady was gonna kill
Aphrodite.
me. And then Aphrodite, like, takes Psyche and shit. And it's like, okay, so... And by the way, he tells his whole story to Persephone and Artemis to be like, and that's why I got you super drunk and put you in a stranger's car. And I'm just sitting here like, and you want me to feel bad for you?
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, I didn't know about the part Psyche tries to stab him, which is totally legitimate. I would do that too.
Like, at the start...
I thought they were just, like, in love and stuff, and then Aphrodite found out and, like, took Psyche, and I was like, oh, that's so sad.
But then
I saw
and then
that
you
part,
actually
and I was
read
like...
what happens, and you're like, Eros, this is entirely your fault, and I don't feel bad for you.
I was like, damn, Eros, you sound like a fucking stupid idiot going to your mom about this immediately.
You dumb bitch.
Aren't you a god? Can't you just handle it?
Can't you just figure it out, dumbass? Anyway,
yeah,
after
like,
all this, they then go shopping. Eros,
they go shopping.
Eros, Persephone, and Artemis go big shopping.
They go shopping.
They go shopping.
Gods be shopping.
They go clothes shopping, and Persephone had earlier had sent Hades a text saying, "Hey, it's me. I have a phone," and he doesn't immediately answer. And so while they're shopping,
immediately, which is it's really weird because I thought he was really into her, but now he's acting like, oh, I'm so tortured.
I'm so tortured.
Like
he sees that she texted him, and he's like, oh, whatever, and he like throws his phone into the passenger seat of his car.
It's really weird because I was just like,
bro, I thought you were into this bitch, sense. And now you're just like, whatever.
You're not making sense.
And then while they're shopping, Persephone's just like, oh, he hasn't called me, he hasn't texted me back, oh my god. And she gets with a mannequin and like makes the mannequin arms like hold her and like a hug, and I'm like, ma'am, what is wrong with you? Please stop being so insecure. Why are you written like this? Why are you this insecure over some guy not texting you back instantly?
Like, Persephone's 19, even though all the other gods are like
1,000+ years old, by the way.
I don't get why she has to be the only one that's 19 years old.
I don't understand why she couldn't be 100 years old and still be naive because she lived on the mortal realm. Why does she have to be 19? Why does she have to be 19? Why are you putting this 19-year-old with a 1,000-year-old who is, in her own words, physically about 30 to maybe 40 years old?
But then he doesn't even look that old because Zeus doesn't even have a beard.
Yeah,
Zeus
by the way, I want to mention all of the men in this Greek comic have no beard. These Greek gods, no beard. No beard on these gods
at all.
And if you know anything about like Greece, you'd know that lot beard. They all lot of beard. There's lot beard.
The older men wore beard to show they weren't fucking bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zeus doesn't have a beard and he's purple, and he doesn't even look like the normal Zeus, which I love the normal Zeus design of just fucking cool old man with beautiful, luscious locks of white hair.
Even if he is a sex pervert, at least he looks like.
At least it makes sense that he would have a bunch of sex.
Because he's a beefy-ass guy with big beard. Beards are legally required for an interpretation of any Greek myth. Look, we're nitpicking here. This is hater hours.
No, this is normal.
This is what?
You need to have beards for Zeus, now that I'm thinking about it. Otherwise, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Why doesn't he have a beard? I'm so confused.
Why does he look like a twink?
He's purple, and Poseidon is green, and he sometimes has fish ears, but sometimes doesn't.
I want to also mention there's a lot of inconsistencies between the art in a lot of panels. Specifically, there's a lot of times where, like, in one panel, Poseidon will have, like, you know, like how my VTuber has, like, the fish thing, right? I have the little fish thing. Sometimes Poseidon will have little fish fins. and then the next panel he will just have normal human ears.
And I'm like, what's the truth?
What's going on here? It really feels like sometimes there are 4 or 5 people drawing this comic at any given time, and none of them are talking to each other.
No. And it also feels like they don't have ref models or ref sheets or anything.
Does he look like Jason Momoa? Not really. He just looks like a guy.
None of these people have, like, anything. They're all boring. They all have the same boring face. There's not really any...
All the men are squares, and all the women are Kim Kardashian shaped. I'm being for real here.
He doesn't even have a beard either. There's
Again,
no beard.
No beard. None of these characters have beards. None of them.
Jason Momoa would be a great Poseidon looking, but they didn't do that. Sorry.
They didn't do that.
If you think any of these guys are hot, they're not. They're only hot to probably, like, weird straight women.
Like the author.
Like the author. None of these people are, like, what I would consider good, like, look of the Greek gods.
It just makes me want to go play Hades, the game, again, because, like, at least those gods, like, finally, some good fucking character design.
That shit is, like, so good. Lore Olympus is... Everyone, there's different colors of
all the
squares
characters
and
are really only tell apart by, like, the color that they are, which is going to get really complicated when you have multiple characters that have the same color. Because both...
Like Aphrodite, not Aphrodite. Well, she's a light purple.
She's
I think
a light
more
purple.
Of, like, the lavender.
And Eros is, like, pink. And Apollo is purple. And so is Zeus.
And so is
but Hermes is
Artemis.
red. And Artemis is also purple. And also, we're gonna bring this up now, the manimal paws.
Oh, the men hands are manimal paws. You can't figure out how to draw them around holding
it's
objects.
just like,
really
I don't like to insult people's art, but if you're making a comic for money, I would expect you to at least... I know, if you're making something for, like, money like this, are you too good to look up a reference on how somebody holds a phone or a cup? Because what she does is draw these giant manimal paws and just slap the thing in the middle of it. And it's like, do you know how people hold cell phones, ma'am?
Not like that.
Fuck.
Okay. She's made so much. It's in stores. Lore Olympus is in stores that you can buy it physically. We can make fun of the
Greek. This is literally straight person yaoi, is what I'm saying, art
straight
style wise. In that the men have giant shoulders, tiny heads, and huge hands. I know hands are hard to get right, but these look like animal paws on the ends of human arms.
I know how hands are hard to draw, but she also is so right.
Both
I don't
draw.
give a shit.
We know hands are hard, but like
we know hards are hands.
We know hard's hands. We knows with our eyes.
I've done it. I've lived through the pain. Smithy knows it, but she clearly hasn't figured out how to draw them.
From what I'm seeing the art on the
It is and also inconsistent.
It's very inconsistent.
Dramatically. It hurts to look at because you just look at the art, the 2 panels next to each other, and they're like not
wildly
completely
different. Like we haven't gotten.
But it's like a little like a find the differences type of game where you have to like circle it and be like, where's the difference?
What's the difference? Like, I read a smidgen ahead on episode 21, and there's 3 panels in a row that are the same pose, but it looks like she redrew it every single time, and each panel looks different and has its own inconsistencies. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why couldn't you copy paste this?
I was looking at it. It was like, it looks like the picture, the meme picture where it's like artists with dementia draw self-portrait over time. It's like that, but with her OCs. She can't draw them consistently in 3 panels. It's really hurting.
It's not great. That's the problem, Seed. I don't think it is written well.
It's not written well, and I mean, part of webcomic, like, I get it, not every webcomic has to look good, because maybe that's on purpose, but it is supposed to be, like, consumable art that I'm supposed to read and enjoy looking at, but Lore Olympus's art is not to look at.
Okay, so they were shopping, and then Artemis is like, oh no, my brother's in the car, and then we get to a scene where, by the way, Apollo is drawn like a greaser from like the 50s, for some reason. And the first scene we have of Apollo is him wearing sunglasses, and you can see the reflection of Persephone's titties in the sunglass, and it's like, you're really gonna do Apollo like this, bro? Really? Really? Like, well, he has things you can, like, bitch at him over, like Cassandra. Like, but really? This? You're demonizing Apollo for the exact same behavior that Hades was doing at the beginning of the comic.
Yeah, it's just like, well, it's Hades is the love interest, so it's okay when he does it. Anyone bad.
I know, there's, like, the evolution of art styles theme, but we're talking about, like, single panel
this doesn't evolve at all. This art is probably gonna turn even worse as time goes on.
No, it does evolve, but it stays inconsistent is the thing. Like, I've heard later that the artist tries to see, like, look, Persephone is, chubby, and draws her, like, quote-unquote chubby, and by chubby I mean slightly thicker waist, but giant hips and bazongles.
The horny type of
chubby. But then in other scenes just draws her, again, stick straight, but again with large hips and bazongles.
She just has big boobs. That's her defining character art. Is that she's small and has a giant rack. She is huge. The boobadoos.
The Boppledopolis. And then we get a cut to whatever Hades was doing, which is being emo in his parked car. I'm pretty sure his car is parked. He's parked in his car, and he's using voice commands in his parked car to delete voicemails from Mintha.
Maybe it's supposed to show that he's like a boomer that doesn't know how to use technology.
It's bizarre.
Maybe they couldn't draw him deleting it, and they had to show it via telling you. They were doing tell, don't show.
They do a lot of that. There's a lot of things where, like, instead of just having the panel showing Persephone waiting, she'll write down overhead, waiting patiently, instead of just, letting the reader figure out that she's waiting patiently.
Definitely. Bro, I'm so waiting patiently right now.
Bro, I'm waiting so patiently right now. And then we smash cut, we're at Hades and all that, and then, for whatever reason, him, Zeus, and Poseidon go to a strip club.
I don't know, maybe that's normal for straight people, or straight cis men.
I don't know,
I'm going with the strip club with my brothers.
I'm going to the strip club with my sex pest brothers. Why? A strip club, by the way, that they were banned from due to property damage.
I think they properly damaged it again at the end of the chapter.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Why do they keep going to strip clubs? Just go to a normal cafe. Freaks.
Just go to a Denny's and get some breakfast there, dipshit.
Me and my bros go to strip clubs to have conversations about our...
At 11 a.m.
And then they talk about Persephone, and then Hades, and how they would that Hades would have sex with her.
Because,
and he's like,
again,
well,
Hades
so
is like
small.
a bagillion feet tall, and Persephone is an itty bitty little tiny girl.
They're like, she's so small, how did that work?
I don't want to shit on people for, like, having a height difference thing, because, like, it happens, but the thing is Persephone is drawn so small that it's like, in some scenes, it looks like Hades could pick her up and put her on his shoulders like she is a child.
Well, yeah, I think there's a frame later on where someone, like, made it so he was standing up, and she was literally like to his
crotch
penis.
Height?
Yes.
And it's weird because earlier in the comic she was like up to his mid-chest, which is like whatever, but then she just shrinks down to be crotch height, and it's like, what's happening here?
Shrinkadink. She's a shrinkadink. So then he's like, oh, I guess she would have to be on top, meaning cowgirl, I guess.
Or whatever.
And then I was reading it at 1 a.m. and reading that, and I sent a message
out again.
Like, no! I read that at 1 a.m. and I sent a message being like, he's talking about having sex, and I forgot to put Persephone. So it said he's talking about having sex with his brothers. And
I was like, what? And then later you're like, why did I write that like that? It was so
no,
funny.
I said I missed the Persephone because I was writing it at 1 a.m.
He's having sex with his brothers.
No, I meant to say he's talking about having sex with Persephone with his brothers. And then later in person I said to you, oh, he wasn't talking about having sex with his brothers. He was talking about having sex with his knees.
We're gonna... By the way, at this point, the writer has not done anything to imply that,
they're not related.
They're not related. Because in the myth, Persephone is Zeus's and Demeter's daughter. But in this, so far, she hasn't really... As far as we know, they're still niece and uncle. Now, I know later in the comic, she does bring up, this is how they're not related. But as of right now...
Readers just are, I know that it's a Greek myth, so they're gonna have incest, and I don't really care about it in the original Greek myths, because they're gods, so
and they're not real.
Like it matters. They're not real. But for this, where you're romanticizing it and shit, it's like,
when you're
okay,
selling this as like a romance comedy, young adult thing...
I think we need to pack up our bags and leave.
She wants to write a Greek myth pseudo-modern AU fanfiction, but so she's into it, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, where's this other fucking rail dog? Oh, you did it, okay. Alright. Oh, look at this time-lapse of us clean. Wow.
We did that.
We did big clean. You went fucking crazy. Alright, let's find another place. We have... Clean the washroom. You want to clean a bathroom?
Yeah, I love the bathroom.
Okay.
I love whenever we get to just clean a room. I don't really like cleaning not rooms.
Okay, you go to the other side of the hallway, and we'll meet in the middle. Like, all the way down. Get the fuck out. Keep going.
I'm going!
I'm going! Okay, so we're at the strip club thing, and they're talking about, like, this shit, and the gun is the power hose, yeah. And then Hera just shows up to talk mad shit, and she has like this fat ass blunt. I know it's supposed to be a cigar, but I'm just gonna say it's a fat ass blunt because it's funnier. And she basically just tears into Hades, being like, "Why are you talking about my friend's like teenage daughter like that? You weirdo ass loser. You only want her because she's young and naive and won't argue with you." Which, like, reading him to bits, by the way, she is correct.
Yeah, because he has a girlfriend, Minty, and she was like, "I don't want to go to the party." He got upset about that, so email. But if Persephone was with them, she probably wouldn't argue like that with him. Yeah. So he's like, Persephone, her fat tits.
And her fat bazoggles. She's so little.
It's
and
so
I know
crazy.
that like they're gonna turn everybody who's against Hades and Persephone getting together as like the bad guy, because that's just what happens in this. I'm pretty sure. I haven't read ahead, but that's what I've gathered through context clues on Reddit. Is that anybody who had any sort of issue with their relationship is shown as like the bad guy.
How dare you be against this teenager getting with a 1,000-year-old man? What the hell's wrong with you?
And apparently Hades was going to fucking propose to Mintha, because he's so desperate for a queen of the underworld that he would literally take anyone.
Well, Minthy's probably a better one, because I think she slays. Minthy slays.
By the way, everybody's really racist against the nymphs for whatever reason.
We forgot to mention the nymph race. The nymph racism, which doesn't make any sense.
So bizarre.
I don't think that's real. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the Greek myths that much, but I didn't recall
for being a nymph.
Yeah, really. I would take Minthi up and I would make her my queen.
Yeah.
Fuck Hades and Persephone. Minthy's where it's at.
I'm just like, this is... I'm not looking forward to continuing to read this, because I know some plot points that happen, like...
Oh, yeah.
The Apollo stuff is gonna get worse, like, a bagillion times, and then at some point Persephone is gonna kill a bunch of humans for whatever reason, and I don't...
She's just a girl boss.
Yeah.
But she's gonna get...
Why not just not read it? Because, you see...
Uriah, we need to find out about the Never Apologize for Being Sicilian.
Yeah, the reason we're reading it is because there's a panel where Hades is grabbing Persephone and telling her, never apologize for being from the motherland. Never apologize for being Sicilian. And we're like, you are Greek! What is this?
I hope that's not fake. If it's fake, I'm gonna
yeah, if that's a fake screenshot, I'm gonna lose my mind. We've done all this for nothing.
I won't look it up if it's fake or not, though. I'll just have to see.
Why are you telling Persephone, a person with a Greek god with a Greek name, to never apologize for being Sicilian? Like, what? Is she Sophia from, like, Golden Girls now? What's going on?
No, there's probably gonna be fucking, anti-Sicilian racism by somebody, I guess.
Oh my god. What's the author got bagged about Siciliophobia for?
I don't know.
Siciliophobia. Deed, stop being funny.
That's the whole reason why we're doing this. I hope it's real. If it's not real, well, this will make me grow as a person, I guess.
What do you mean? Here's how I will never write a romance story in my life.
Well, I would write a better romance story.
That doesn't involve a 19-year-old girl and a man that's, like, several hundred times her age, yeah?
And her uncle, yeah.
Yeah.
They should have never been
Is Twilight better? Not really. Twilight's a
mean,
lot more racist.
Just watch the first movie when you're high and it's so funny, but otherwise don't.
The first movie's a comedy, and then the rest of the series is like dog shit.
It's so fucking boring.
Now, hold on, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. Lore Olympus could be more racist than Twilight. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. It did have the only brown woman so far not know how to read, so it's putting up a high bar against Twilight.
Oh my god. Oh.
And I don't even. I guess it's because there's art styles just drawing everyone monochrome, but I feel like if she wanted to show more difference between the Greek gods or just the gods and like a normal person, why didn't she just draw Psyche like with the normal color palette?
Yeah.
Instead of like I don't know. I think the art style's not my cup of tea at all,
times
and
where
it
I'm
just
like,
looks
okay,
bad.
this composition looks fine. and then the next panel.
And then other times the composition looks shit.
The other time, it's like, sometimes it's like, whatever, it's fine, take it or leave it, it's passable. And the other times, the art style is just so fucking inconsistent between panels that are drawn directly next to each other, it makes me have, like, absolute fucking whiplash. It also just, it's just like, the manimal paws are still getting me. Every time I see it, I almost have to take a screenshot, because it's like, straight yaoi is the realest term I've ever heard for this.
That's what it is.
Make a Discord channel?
We
have a Discord channel on our private thing. A sub-channel on, yeah, we'll call it Lore Olympus Manimal Paws.
We have it, Lore Olympus Shitting Corner.
In our Discord.
And
not in the
thread
in Discord, but in me and
No,
hers.
you guys don't get to see that.
If you want to suffer, you read Lore Olympus yourself. We're just talking about it. If you wanna suffer like we do, read it yourself. I know we're just driving more traffic to that shit-ass webcomic, but it's just like, come on.
Well, it's almost over anyway, so...
Thank God.
It doesn't really matter. Just don't give
I mean, you're not exactly selling it, thank God.
If you read this, your eyeballs will ooze out of your skull.
Like the Ark of the Covenant in that one Indiana Jones movie.
Mm-hmm. It hurts you that much.
Those are good so far. I just... Like, yeah, people are allowed to draw, like, whatever they want. Yeah, sure, whatever. But I'm also allowed to bitch at it if you're making it public and then saying, yes, my Greek myth retelling is so good and hashtag feminist. It should be taught in schools.
Hashtag feminist, but I hate all the female characters I make, and I reinforce sexist ideas. Like a woman is only good when she's sexualized by others and not sexualizing herself.
Yeah. It's like, I need people to understand that just because a woman is telling the story does not mean that it's inherently feminist. Okay? It's like those same people that are like, how could my boyfriend not be a feminist? He listens to Taylor Swift with me. And I'm like, are you fucking stupid? That's a real thing that I've seen someone say. That's a real thing that I've seen someone say.
And it's like, girl, shut the fuck up.
Jesus Christ.
It's a dirty old bathroom, Jiraiya. Someone shit all over the place.
Yeah. These are gamer stains from gamers.
That's why power washing has to be done.
The sink needs to get clean. Thank you.
I mean, it does seem to have open things to the outside. Maybe. So maybe the outside has made it dirty as time goes on.
Alright. So in conclusion, that's been our recap of the first 20 chapters of Lore Olympus. We'll probably do... we won't be doing this next Saturday. Probably.
No.
No, in order to read another 20 chapters, I need at least 2 weeks to slog through it.
It's not a book. I guess it is a book at Target. You can buy it at Target.
You can buy a physical edition as a book, but I'm reading it on my...
Why the hell would you do that? The art's not even that good.
I'm reading it on my phone with an ad blocker, so like... Fuck, dude. Fuck, dude.
We should... It's so bad. Don't read Lore Olympus, but if you're gonna read it, shit on it. So good.
Alright. I'm done for today. Let's get out of here.
Okie dokie.
Let's raid somebody. Look, we're almost basically an hour through. We did it. We had enough content to shit on for a whole hour. I feel like that's great.
We're so good at this.
Today's stream, Dirt Destroyed. Good stram. Thanks. I'm glad people show up to listen to us bitch about bullshit. It's real awesome.
Yeah,
we're gonna raid Wayne Radio TV because he is doing a stream to fundraise for Palestine. So we're gonna raid him.
Yeah.
Everybody be cool. We'll probably be back in like 2 weeks with another 20 chapters to bitch about. Or more, depending on how bad it gets. I don't know what you guys were talking about, but I walked in anyway. Awesome. Perfect. Cool. Alright. Goodbye, everyone.